Arvest Bank is pleased to bring you the Legend Series, where we focus on individuals who are committed to their communities, much like Arvest.
Do you have anything that you'd like to add as far as advice, somebody who's maybe entering their career now, just heading into management leadership roles? What advice would you have for them?
Well, the most important thing is maintaining integrity. Maintaining integrity.
What does integrity mean to you?
To me, it means being truthful, being reliable, establishing a reputation of when you say something, people can count on it. Being the same thing today as you were yesterday and tomorrow. Being the same thing in a crowd or being alone. Those are the attributes. And there will be tests to that. You asked me in one of our conversations about challenges. One of the greatest challenges that I had in my 40 years at Evangel was one of those things that came like a blindside collision. I was having lunch one day with the publisher and editor of the News Leader at that time. And it was at a time when there had been a lot of news about college athletics and questionable behavior and both athletes and coaches involved in things that just were questionable. And so the three of us are talking, the editor, publisher, and I, and we're talking about that. And one coach in particular who was quite noted and notorious. And I made a statement. I said, that kind of behavior could be stopped just like that. And they both kind of stopped and said, what do you mean? I said, well, the reason that kind of behavior goes on is because the president of that university has abdicated his role. He's turned things over to other people, and they're just doing whatever they want to do. And if the president of that institution would assume his rightful place and put things in order, you could correct that. The previous football season, this is in the early months of a year. The previous football season, Evangel had just enjoyed its most successful football season of our short history. Had gone through the season undefeated, had gone through to the semifinal game of the national playoffs. It was phenomenal. Before a week was out of this conversation that I'd had with the newspaperman, someone shared with me that there was a chance that Evangel had used a couple of players that season that were ineligible. And so I checked it out, and it was determined that two young men, when they were freshmen, had participated in a scrimmage with another college, not a regular game, but a scrimmage. They were redshirted after that scrimmage. Now they were seniors, and they had played all season long. The NAIA rules said that if a player participates in a scrimmage with another institution or in a regular game, they have used a year of eligibility. Well, when it was determined that that indeed is what was happened, we called a press conference and announced our decision that all of our wins for that season were being forfeited. Our conference championship was being forfeited, and we were starting new. That was a challenge because the young men who had played had given it their all. It wasn't their fault. Mm-hmm. Even the young men who had not, who were the people in question, had not done it trying to do something wrong. And for the coach to say, well, everybody does this, wasn't adequate.
Did
This
the
is what the
coach-
rules said.
Was the coach allowed to keep his job?
No.
How did, without disclosing personnel information, of course, how does that conversation go? Is it,
I
did you,
accept
did
your
you have a,
I accept your resignation. But the point was, when we found out the rules had been violated, that's where integrity kicks in. And you either are going to live by what you say is right or you're not. Interestingly enough, as the years have gone by, that was nearly 30 years ago, I will still have people. I had a letter not long ago from someone who's now in the business world. As I recall, he's in Chicago. And he sent me a letter and he said, I just have come through a time in my business where I had to take a stand for what I believed was right. And as I was wrestling with those things, I remembered what happened when you announced that we were forfeiting our successful season because of a violation of rules. And it helped me make the right decision. At the time, it was very, very painful and very, very disappointing to a lot of people.
of course, people love their sports. It's more than a game for
It's
a
more
lot of
than a
people.
game. I don't put myself in a place of saying, well, hey, look at me. But I think that's where you have to decide if you're going to live with yourself or not. And if you don't live up to what you say is right, when are you going to start?
Right.
Like the individuals highlighted in the Legend series, Arvest Bank is committed to our community. Click on the link below to find out ways that you can engage with us to help make Springfield great.